In today's video, we will be taking a look at a 2024 hypothetical 2024 election prediction between the Republican and the Democrat. It's just a generic Republican versus a generic Democrat. Now, I understand the candidates have a different ability rating, how well they can perform in an election. Nonetheless, I'm just really taking the average, weighing how likely they are to win a primary, and applying this to the map. So as you can see right now, Republicans have 113, Democrats have 181. Now these states may not actually be safe margins, but more or less these are safe states that are not going to go for the other political party, pretty much regardless how trash of a candidate they might run. Now for the likely states here for the Democrats, let's start off with them. Colorado, New Mexico, the state of Maine, and the state of Virginia. These are likely states for a Democratic Party. Now you can argue a state like New Jersey, which won for Biden by 16, could be likely, but really that's not that large of a difference. Now for Republicans, they have more safe likely states given they only have 113 electoral votes right now. Alaska, South Carolina, Texas, Iowa, and Ohio. These are pretty classical likely Republican states. Iowa, Ohio, trending Republican, Alaska, South Carolina. These are states I could put in the safe category. I just don't think Republicans can win by 15 or even a margin that close to 15, so I put them in the likely category. Texas, it's going to be around a R plus 6 state like in 2020, I could see the state being around a 10-point state or around a 5-point state. I think Republicans are going to generally improve a little bit, but this is going to be likely regardless. Florida as well, going to be a likely Republican state, trending Republican, at least from the looks of 2020. Now, you could make an argument this is an outlier. Nonetheless, Florida, it seems like Hispanic voters are trending away from the Democratic Party. And as well as that main second district will be likely. This is a district Trump pretty much helped the Republicans flip, and now it doesn't look like a district that's gonna vote for a Democratic candidate. Now for the final states here, these are the lean and tilt states. I'm gonna be going deeper with these states. The first state, Nevada. Nevada's pretty interesting. Ron DeSantis could do pretty well there. It's a state that's heavily Hispanic. It's a state that has a lot of casinos, right? It's a state known for casinos. It's a state that could really go either way. Clark County being the largest population center is also where Democrats net around 100,000 votes, maybe a little less than that. And Republicans have pretty much the entire state left, except Washoe County, which is pretty much 50-50. Democrats need to run up the margins in Clark County, while Republicans need to run up the margins in the rural part of the state. And the swing county is Washoe County, so if Republicans win the county, they are more likely to win the state. If Democrats win the county, they are more likely to win the state. Now, I think in 2024, Republicans have the edge here. It looks like it's trending a little bit towards the Republicans in the state of Nevada, given that Biden actually underperformed Clinton's margin, though Biden did better in the generic ballot. Now, Arizona, this is a heavily trending blue state, partially because of John McCain, who was able to win the state by a larger margin than many Republicans at the presidential level. Maybe it's because of the fact that many people are just leaving the Rust Belt to the Sun Belt, and that's really helping the Democratic Party and I'm having a stronger grip in Arizona. Now, around 10 to 20 years ago, the state was not necessarily out of reach for Republicans, for Democrats, but it was definitely solidly in the Republican direction. Now it's a lot more competitive. I think Democrats do have the upper edge here. Another state that's trending blue by even a faster margin would be the state of Georgia. This is a state that's really close. It's a state that, again, that Republicans run up huge margins in rural areas. Democrats run up huge margins in the urban areas. Typically, the rural areas do end up outweighing the urban areas. However, the suburban areas are where Democrats are making major improvements. For example, Cobb County, Newton County, these are heavily populated counties, and these are counties that are trending heavily towards the Democrats. In 2016, for instance, Hillary Clinton won Cobb County, a very large populated center, with around 500,000 votes by only around 3%. Fast forward to 2020, Biden won the county by around 17 points, so you can see a huge improvement on the Democratic side in those areas, which will end up helping the Democratic Party win the state of Georgia in future elections. Now, 2024, it's going to be a relatively neutral year, but I think Democrats have a upper edge here. Now, North Carolina, here we have, again, a lot of the rural and urban divide. Wade County and Mecklenburg County, these are the two large Democratic centers featuring Raleigh and the county of and the city of Charlotte. And Republicans are going to have to run really well in for example, the 14th district. These are very rural districts that could help the Republicans win. At the end of the day, I do think Republicans have the edge, given that the state hasn't went blue a whole lot since 2008 on the presidential level. Even in that election where the generic ballot was D+8, Obama barely won the state. So this is definitely a state that's to the right of the national environment by consistently around 5 or 6 points. Thus, I do give the state to the Republican Party. Now, for the state of Minnesota, this is a state that, again, votes typically speaking slightly to the left of the generic ballot. It's a state where the rural areas are not as liberal. Now, Hillary Clinton almost lost the state, but it looks like that the state is trending towards the Republican Party. It's a state that even Walter Mondale, the Democrat who pretty much lost every single state but still managed to stay in Minnesota, that's really how Democrats have a long history in Minnesota, and that's probably going to help the Democrats win the state. Nonetheless, this state would likely flip to the Republicans in around 2040 when the Rust Belt becomes more red. Now for the state of Wisconsin here, I think it's going to be lean Republican because of the fact that, again, although some of the exurban areas around the Milwaukee area is trending blue, that's not enough to counter the Republican trends in pretty much the entire rest of the state. For example, in the district over here, in some of the areas that border the Minnesota area, where Tim Ryan. I forgot. Okay, it does currently. Does in 2020 preside as representative. He did not run for re-election, knowing that he will end up losing that district. So that is why Republicans are doing better in the state of Wisconsin. Now for the state of Michigan here, it's very, really close, but really what it matters right now is the state of Pennsylvania. Michigan, Republicans can win the election with Michigan and New Hampshire, or with the state of Pennsylvania alone. Now, Nebraska 2nd pretty much doesn't matter at this moment in time. I think Democrats may be slightly favored, given that this district did go for Biden by around 7, but redistricting has made the district around 2 to 3 points more Republican-leaning. Now for the state of New Hampshire here, I think Democrats have the upper edge, because, again, Biden did win the state by 7 points, which was pretty on par with the state of Minnesota, and I think Democrats still have a good chance there. The state is not trending Republican compared to the rest of New England. Now, finally, for these two crucial states. First off, I think Michigan will go to the GOP narrowly. Again, it's a trending Republican state, and that is the reason I think Republicans are going to do well there. I think at this point, if Trump runs as the presidential candidate and Biden runs, Biden could have the upper edge. But I think when you average everything out, especially given that Biden's mental health, physical health, and strength may not actually make him able to run for re-election, and if that is the case, Kamala Harris is just not the best candidate, and that could lead to Democrats losing. Similarly, in Pennsylvania here, I think the state's not trending Republican that heavily, but it is still trending red, and the rural areas are just very, very significant. And Democrats are not improving the suburban areas as opposed to the rest of the country. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.